Hello everyone and welcome to GI Research on the Road. We're here live at Digestive Disease Week 2019 in San Diego with GI and liver nutrition expert and dietitian Neha Shah.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Neha is a GI dietitian within her own practice where she provides dedicated nutritional care to individuals suffering with a range of different GI illnesses and liver issues, as well as providing dietitian support for GI surgery and GI oncology at the Stanford Cancer Center.
Yes.
So we're really excited to have you.
Well, thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely, and we're here to talk about fiber and digestive health, how patients can use fiber to help as approach to modify and alleviate their symptoms. Now, fiber is a very tricky concept for people.
Yes.
And it can be a lot of questions that patients have about how can they use it,
what to eat, what not to eat. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we're really grateful.
Thank you.
That you're here to talk with us about this topic. And if we could just dive in, I'd really like to learn a little bit more about what exactly fiber is and what does it do to the digestive tract.
Okay. So dietary fiber, it is a plant-based substance. It is a substance that our body does not digest at all. Mm-hmm. And what this means is that our body does not have digestive enzymes to break it down. Fiber is part of the carbohydrate family as well. However, fiber can be digested by our microbiome, or the intestinal bacteria that lives in our colon, and through the process of fermentation. Fiber definitely plays a lot of different roles in our health. With its role in the GI health, one, it can certainly retain water, it can add bulk to stools, and it can certainly promote motility as well as promote production of short chain fatty acids through the process of fermentation. Okay, and with our role in the GI health, certainly with that said, there are different characteristics of fiber. There is one, solubility of fiber, it's fermentability of fiber, and viscosity of fiber. And depending on the characteristic of that fiber is what's going to determine that function of that fiber in our gut and how we may tolerate fiber from the diet. So solubility refers to the fiber's ability to dissolve into water, and then fermentability refers to the fiber's ability to be fermented or not. And certainly with viscosity, it refers to the fiber's ability when mixed into fluids, can it thicken that fluid or not?
Okay, well that's, it seems like it's very complicated. Are there better or worse fibers that include all of those characteristics or different characteristics for GI symptoms?
Sure. So with that said, tolerance can vary from one person to another, so it's really hard to say what fiber is better or worse. Mm-hmm. So for an example, if my patients are complaining of gas and bloating, and it really depends on why those symptoms are happening, and with that said, I may look at their diet and see where are the gas producing fibers coming in. At times the fermentable fibers such as inulin or fructane or galactanes may potentially cause more gas and bloating than others. So maybe we need to learn how to eat less of that, or add a mix between non-fermentable fibers and fermentable fibers into the diet. If one is having a normal transit constipation and they want to use fiber to be able to promote regularity, then maybe we need to add a little bit more bran, as in another example, to promote regular bowel movements. So it really all depends on what symptoms are coming about, and then what fiber can be used to help address that particular symptom. And then certainly we go from there.
Okay, so it's very important to individualize.
Yes, most definitely.
For fiber. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know. So is it important for people with GI issues to get the fiber in their diet from the foods that they're eating, or are supplements kind of the same thing?
Okay. So even though fiber is found in both foods and it's also found in supplements as well, there are definitely differences there. So the fiber that are found in foods, it can certainly be found in different mixed types of fiber, where the fiber found in supplements can be just one form of fiber, okay? And then certainly when we do eat food, there are other nutrients there. So using beans as an example, that is a source of a fermentable fiber. However, that beans also provide some protein, okay, where a fiber supplement may not. Where another example is fruit is another source of fiber. It may provide vitamin C and folic acid, where a fiber supplement may not have those nutrients. So with that said, the use of a fiber supplement can complement the diet, and when one has variable tolerance to fiber or does not have access to foods with fiber, but it cannot replace all the foods in the diet. Is really meant to complement the diet.
Okay.
Yes.
So as a dietitian working with patients, the goal is to try to get as much from the foods that they are able to.
As much as we can, yes. Certainly not just the foods that we're looking for. Portions make a difference, how it's cooked, how it's blended, whether it's eaten raw, how often in the diet, all comes into play when it comes to tolerance to fiber.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated. There are a lot of different elements, and you talked about quantity, how much.
Yes.
And so is there an optimal amount of fiber that a person should eat?
Definitely. So generally speaking, the Institute of Medicine has set guidelines for fiber for adults. And to overall summarize that, it could be around 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, okay? And that's just for the total amount for the day. Now, how much is coming into a meal, what type of foods with fiber to help meet that can all make a difference. For those with gastrointestinal symptoms, eating 25 grams of fiber a day might be a little too much. But again, it really depends on what type of foods with fiber are used to meet that. Yeah. And that's why it's really important to work with the dietitian to help you add the fiber into the diet in ways that would work for your symptoms, help you reduce those symptoms, and help you get the fiber that you need. Yes.
So a dietitian can help you with the timing, with this type of fiber, with kind of the gradual adding in to get to your optimum.
Yes. So for example, if a patient comes my way and they want to learn a little bit more how I can add my fiber, I want to learn what baseline is. Okay, so where are you at with your fiber intake right now? I want to learn a little more about the history. What led to you not eating so much fiber? Okay, so with that said, I want to learn a little bit more about the symptoms at hand to help me understand what type of fiber would be best for your symptoms. So for example, if one is interested in adding more fruit into the diet, then I want to learn a little bit more is what type of fruits are coming in now, what was your past experience with fruits, okay, what symptoms you had, and then we go from there. And certainly adding fruit using the same example is maybe something that if you're barely eating any fruit at all, maybe what we need to do is start with a few tablespoons, a half a cup, not every day, pick one meal to experiment with and see how that goes. And then learning from there how we can build from there, and maybe building from there instead of every other day or twice a day, maybe it's every meal at that one meal and then go to 2 meals. So it's all really individualized and tracking the symptoms along the way to really help determine what would be the best approach.
Great, well, thank you. And then, are there ever cases where increasing the fiber is not recommended?
Sure. So with that said, when it comes to increasing the amount of fiber, it really depends on what we're looking at. Are we looking to add more into the diet? Are we looking into adding more at each meal? It's hard to say. So certain conditions, like if one is at risk for obstruction, I don't know whether I would add more fiber into the diet, but I may work with what's already in the diet. So if one with an obstruction is not barely eating any foods with fiber, then I look to see what type of foods with fiber in ways that their body can handle it as a start. If if they're having, if one is having too much fiber in the diet and they're having symptoms of gas or bloating, I may do like a fiber count. I may collect information on their baseline intake and just learn a little bit more about what type of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes are coming in. And if I find that they're, how much they're eating is like 50 grams or 60 grams, I have come across that, then maybe we'll come back and reduce that. But overall, I found that most of my patients have been diagnosed with different GI disorders. There is potential to add fiber, but again, it really just depends on what type of food and what type of quantity. I don't get too caught up in the numbers per se. I more get caught up with how can I help add the fruits back in and the veggies back in, and then work with that.
So it sounds like fiber is really not scary,
no,
but it really you need to work with somebody who has
yes.
that knowledge base
right.
to help you go through the process of
yes.
all of these different factors coming into play to get to the optimum.
We definitely need to take it in phases, for sure. I think, situations I've come across is that some of my patients want to add fiber back in, and they'll start adding back a lot. Fruits, veggies, whole grains, and they develop a lot of gas and bloating, so they stop, and that scared them. Where I think if one is not used to having fiber in the diet, it needs to be gradually added into the diet. It can't just be all at once, and that's why it's important to work with a dietitian. I'm going to recommend a GI dietitian who can really know the ins and outs of fiber to help you do that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Neha.
Yeah.
This has been an amazing discussion. We are so grateful to have your insights into this topic.
Yeah.
I know that I've learned a lot about fiber, and I really hope everyone
definitely
is able to as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.